If I see something sagging, bagging, or dragging, I get it sucked, tucked, or plucked. It takes a whole lot of money to look as cheap as I look.
Hello and welcome to The Moment. Today on the show, my very special guest coming up soon is Interiors Judge on the block, Darren Palmer, who's going to tell us about his beautiful brand new podcast. It's also a video cast or a vodcast. I'm not sure which term you're supposed to use. It's been filmed beautifully if you want to watch it. It's available on Spotify and on YouTube. But also if you just want to listen to it, you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. And this project is gorgeous. It's called Almost Home. And I had the honour to be the very first guest. There's a whole bunch of people coming up in the series, mostly far more famous than me. But he came to my house and we had a beautiful chat about what home means to us. And I think it'll give you a really great insight into who Darren Palmer really is, aside from what you know already as the interiors critic on the block. But before Darren, a couple of quick moments to fill you in on what's happening on the cultural landscape. There's a lot going on. It's mostly Taylor Swift chat. I feel like I've done my bit from yesterday, if you want to catch up on that. I'm going to start with some book news today. This is really, really exciting. If you're not already across it, singer Dua Lipa, who is amazing, has her own book club and it's a podcast called Service 95. She called it Service 95 because that was the service she said she provided to her friends. She loves reading and 95 is the year she was born. Oh my God. She's a bear. It's a really good podcast. She has great recommendations and I was super surprised to see a special guest in August that I was very familiar with, and that was Australian writer Helen Garner. Helen read from her courtroom drama This House of Grief, which is a tragic real-life case, and I won't go into it now. Look it up if you want to, but it's very depressing. Anyway, I loved hearing her talk to Dua Lipa about that particular book. And if you love Helen's insights and understanding of what goes down in a trial situation, which is something she specialises in, I guess you could say these days, you will be pleased to know that there's another courtroom drama that Helen has been working on. And this time it's alongside the brilliant Sarah Krasnostein, who you would know from the award-winning book, The Trauma Cleaner. Utterly brilliant. If you've not read that, please read it. And also novelist and journalist Chloe Hooper. Helen's going to be working alongside those two to release a book. No surprises. What's the biggest court case that's been going on in this country in the last couple of months? I think you know what I'm talking about. It's called The Mushroom Tapes. And of course it is about the crime. And I think it will touch on the public's obsession with the trial of Erin Pattinson. So it'll be a fascinating insight, I'm sure, from three different perspectives. All three were at the trial recently, day in, day out, and I think it'll be a really interesting perspective from all three. I'm already signed up for the pre-sales. Last week we heard some news that Dolly Parton had to undergo some medical procedures, and this time not cosmetic, which she's famous for. These were actual health medical procedures, and it meant she had to cancel her Las Vegas residency, which was planned for the near future, and also some tour dates, which is a little frightening because Dolly doesn't take any time off work. I think she's worked since she was born, pretty much. And today it's been reported that her sister, Frida Parton, wrote a Facebook update that, I don't know, for Dolly fans is just a little bit disturbing, I guess you could say. She wrote on Facebook that she'd been up all night praying for her sister Dolly. Now, I'm not sure who stays up all night praying unless something is not good, or unless she just does that anyway. I doubt it. But she then requested that Dolly fans should also join her in her prayer for Dolly. So, look, that's a little worrying for me when I hear news like that, especially if it's from her sister, but it could also be a little blown out of proportion. Who knows? I'm hoping that's not the case. But as I said last week, Dolly, hang in there. We need you. The world's gone to hell in a handbasket. We need you more than ever. And I thought, well, why not pull out a book that I got given last year? In fact, when Zanro and I went on Bang On our live tour, this one came from Kelly, who thought of us, this little gem. And I look at it every day. It's the little guide to Dolly Parton. It's unofficial and unauthorised, of course, but it's a little book of her quotes. It's hard to be a diamond in a rhinestone world. And I thought, well, I'll read you one today. And this is if you're feeling a bit low. She's written, I wake up every day expecting things to be good, and if they're not, I set about trying to make them as good as I can. By the end of the day, I like to feel like I've tried to do my best and make that day as good a day as I can make it. So there you go. If you've been feeling flat, maybe take that quote when you wake up tomorrow and try and expect things to be good. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to expect that the news about Dolly Parton is good too. If you know me, you know my love of Dolly Parton runs deep, but you might not know that Darren Palmer also shares that love and can actually recite from memory one of the longest and best Dolly quotes of all time. Darren's a special one. On the block, we know and love Darren Palmer as the cool, calm and collected interiors judge, but now he is ready to show us a whole lot more of himself, a different side. He's made this podcast or video cast, depending on how you want to ingest it. It's called Darren Palmer's Almost Home, and it's all about him going to his friends' houses, chatting to them about what they think makes a home and how they decide to fill it and how they decide to live in it. It's a beautiful new series. I urge you all to go and watch it. And it looks incredible too. It even makes my house look really good. Yeah. I was about to call up the design files the minute I saw the shots. I was like, whoa, it doesn't really look like that all the time. But yeah, I was so honoured to be the first guest. You can bet I whizzed the vacuum cleaner around before he arrived. Not that I'm terrified of his judgment, but yeah, pet hair, etc. And I also filled up the Aesop bottle, you know, the soap canister that everybody fills up with another liquid, another liquid hand wash. I made sure that the lemon fresh was poured in before he arrived. He's an absolute gem, and here he is. Hello, beautiful Darren Palmer.
Hello, lovely Myf. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Now, I see you every Sunday night on the block. You're in my lounge room and I'm watching you as you go through everyone's bathrooms and kitchens and living areas, and, you know what you're on about, and you have a perspective, a very strong perspective and opinion, and you share that, and I think people learn a lot from you. But what I'm feeling is that you haven't shown a lot of yourself in that process, as in who you are and what you love and some of the ideas. Is this a reason why you wanted to make Almost Home? Because this is your project.
Yep. That you hit the nail on the head. When I'm doing my job on the block, I'm doing a job, and I'm very pragmatic when I'm at work, because design for me is about fundamentals and you know, all of the principles that are at play and the reasons things work and the reasons they don't, and never about personal aesthetics, never about what I like or what I don't like. I'm not projecting myself into what I'm saying or what I'm seeing. So by default, what it looks like is maybe I don't have much of a personality, and that's just I hope that's not the case.
It's not the case. I know that. You're awesome. I totally get a sense of your personality on the block. Don't worry about that. But I feel like you want to show us more. Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, more than just me shirtless on promos. Yeah, I feel like I've shown a lot
of skin.
They get a rerun of that every couple of weeks. So I'm like, oh look, that's me on a horse again. Awesome. The other day they showed my husband shirtless too. So yeah, nothing's sacred. But yes, I would also like to share as much of my personality as I have my upper body.
I love it. Look, and no one minds when you get your shirt off on a horse either. So, that's pretty wild for Australian TV. Just hot guy on the back of a horse like the Marlborough Man from the 70s.
Mate, every probably 2 years. So you won't get to see me shirtless next promo, I'll guarantee it. But every 2 years, promos go, hey, so this year we're thinking you're going to be on Baywatch and you're going to be running up a beach. And this year we're going to put you on a horse. So I'm like, shirtless? They're like, oh, yeah. Cool. I guess I'll need to keep at the gym, just not let it go to waste.
Oh, look, you'll look fine regardless to all
Thanks,
of us, mate. Darren. The podcast, though, and the video, Darren, it's going to be beautiful. It's you going around to a whole bunch of folks' houses, including mine, which I was very nervous about, and we'll get to that, going to their houses and talking to them about what they love and why they've done what they've done. What did you learn the most from that experience and the people that you went and visited?
I've learned that everybody lives in a different type of normal. Everybody has different things that are important to them in the sense of what makes home feel like home. The reason why this exists in the first place is I thought it was really fascinating to speak to people about what home used to mean to them and what it looked like and where did they sort of form their identity physically whilst they were in their home space, and what did it look like? And then what was their reaction to that as an adult? And is it a continuation of something you've experienced as a child? Or is it a reaction to something you experienced as a child? And then how do you construct the home around you that makes you feel good? And what makes you feel good? And I just think all of that's really fascinating.
There's so much more to the way we choose to live, isn't there? There's so much more that tells us about ourselves and I guess the moment in which we're living. I would love to know from you how much of your early years were formative in terms of your love of design and appreciation for design. What happened to you as a little kid? Where did you live? What was the house like? What did you love? And then how do you see that playing out in your life now?
You know, it's really funny because I've got mixed memories of the interior space that I grew up in, right? Like it was a very simple little 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1-level house. I like to make fun of my mum because in the 80s, she had like an apricot, very sort of plush leather sofa set.
Oh, my God. I'm jealous. I am jealous.
She loved it. I thought it was just gauche. But anyway, but then at the same time, because they made the house in the 70s, before that sort of iteration of the house, there was a dining setting with like olive green velvet and tubular chrome with a glass top, and lots of a sense of pride in home, lots of a sense of everything being in very good order. And like my dad's really good with DIY, so he would be building stuff, he'd be painting things. It's funny because I didn't realize how much of that was soaking into me, but I watched my dad figure things out with the sort of mind that he has. And have you ever seen, those aging apps where you get a photo of yourself and then you age yourself? I'm my father. I look exactly the same. It is really, really spooky. So
wow.
I'm my dad's son for sure. And we think in a really similar manner. And he's got that sort of mind where he can sort of look at something, think about how it's going to work, and then do it. And that's how I think. So I used to watch him sort of building things and DIYing the stuff and building a bathroom and doing all this decking and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, cool, I can do that. And with Mum, she was always like, okay, so this is the wallpaper that's going on the wall, and Selwyn, it's my dad's name, Selwyn, you're going to paint this wall this color, and all this is going to be this. We're going to pull up the carpet, we're going to polish the floors. And like there was always something going on. And that's pretty much my life too now. So yeah, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Sure doesn't. You didn't really have a choice in this, did you? You were always going to go down this path.
I would say so.
Yeah. Well, what was it then, though? They were obviously very can-do and took a lot of pride in what they loved, but what is it that you fell in love with? Like the home obviously is meaningful in a way that you're only starting to put your finger on. What do you think it is that's so important about a home that makes it so?
For me, it's about having the people in it. That's what's important to me. Like my dogs, my son, my husband. That's what's important to me. 100%.
Sorry, if you can hear purring, that's Myf. If you're just listening to this, that's my cat who's decided to join us, and it's safer to hold him.
We've had 4 dogs at one point. We had 4 dogs and a cat at the same time. So, that's what's important to me in terms of what makes me feel good at home. But strangely, I also had this huge sense of pressure I put on myself for how home should look. and what it should be as a representation of me and my work. And so I've got this really interesting relationship with what home can be on its simplest level, and then what home I should be that I expect it to be, with all of these controls that I like to put on things and the way I want to sort of project myself and be presented to the world. Yeah, so for me, home is a really odd mixed bag of emotions.
Yeah.
And I find that that's really common with lots of people.
Or is it like when chefs go to other people's houses and people get frightened to cook for them? Like, do people come around to your place and or you come over to theirs like you did to mine and get a bit nervous because you're so good at your job? But vice versa, you feel like you have to show that you're good at your job in your personal space?
Not friends and family, but people that don't know me would perceive my house if they saw it. And I have to do things like social media videos and sometimes I have to do photo shoots and stuff in my house.
Yep.
Like, here's a perfect example. This is a perfect story for you. In 2017, I turned 40, right? And just before I turned 40, like 3 weeks before I turned 40, I got this job to endorse something. It was like a beautiful fridge and a beautiful washing machine, and they wanted to shoot it in my kitchen, but my kitchen looked like shit. And so I was like,
hearing that. Thank you.
and then I said to my husband, "So, hey babe, so great job just came my way, but I'm going to have to redesign the kitchen, get it redone so that we can do this shoot." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, cool. So what are you talking?" I'm like, "It has to happen in 2 weeks." And he's like, "Okay, cool. So I did it. And then, but when I was doing it, I also realized that I had to reorient the lounge room so that it would fit against this kitchen. And then I was like, okay, so I'm just going to sort of pull out all the cornicing and I'll like VJ panel all the walls. And you know what? I'm doing it at the lounge room. I should really do it to the dining room as well. And then my husband's like, "Are we still talking 2 weeks?" I'm like, yep. At the end period of this is my 40th birthday, and I'm having a little get together with friends at home.
Oh, Darren, I'm already saying no.
Okay, wait, because they're coming at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. At 12 o'clock, I'm still unloading boxes and putting things into the, like it's the block, like it's one of those things. And just like it's the block, two of the guests were Shayna and Neil.
No.
So talk about feeling judged. I did it to myself.
You did it to yourself. Oh my God, that is like, worst nightmare stuff. That's like a you have a work dream and it's the worst. That's it.
Yeah, I lived it. I did it to myself.
Wow. Yep. You didn't think about just hiring a house or something for that?
It never occurred to me. That would have been way smarter. Gosh, I could have avoided all of that.
You could have, but then you got a new kitchen, so that's good. That's
exactly.
Good. But you were kind of like this, you're telling me you're okay when it was a bit crappy. Like you were fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, I put this pressure on myself that I think people must always perceive that I'm going to live in a beautiful home. And the truth is, I buy fixer-uppers. And I almost always am living in the beginning or the middle of a project. And it's only when it's finished that it looks good. And ironically, my first apartment that I ever did, my first ever job, it got published in Bell. I lived in that for 12 months while I renovated it, and then I moved out. The second place that I lived, I renovated it and never slept in it because it was supposed to be my bachelor pad and I got married before I'd finished it, and that was a 4-month period. Then my third place, again, I'd lived in it, renovated it, never slept in it and sold it. And then this place that I've just done, I was there for 10 years, but for most of that time, it was just varying degrees of sort of tidying up a kitchen or, painting the walls, but a little bit.
So you haven't really had a chance to enjoy your home ever?
Nah. And as an adult, my average in any place that I've ever lived is 2 years max.
Wow. Do you feel like you need to now that you've seen other people who are living in their homes through the series? Is this something that's pushing you in that direction, or do you like all the movement and the change and you don't need necessarily a home that says everything about you?
Honestly, I put myself under a huge amount of pressure to do the project that I just did, and it was a lot. It was a huge amount of work and stress and time and pressure. And I just don't want that for myself or my family anymore. I think there's projects still ahead. Definitely there's things that I'll do. But making something so that it looks great to the outside world, I'm done with that.
Yeah. I love this for you. You're just going to make a space that is truly yours. You'll be going ham on Facebook Marketplace and just buying stuff that is
No,
ridiculous.
you'll be going ham on Facebook Marketplace for me because you're so bloody good at it.
I'm obsessed with it.
You're amazing at it.
Everyone hates it, but I quite like, on the level of weirdos that just, is it still available? And they're emailing me from, I don't know, somewhere in the south of France, and they're clearly suspect. So I just enjoy it all. It feels like an investigation.
You're phenomenal at it. And your eye and your taste and the things that you buy and the things that you find are outstanding. So I would have you source for me off Marketplace any day of the week.
Oh, thank you. Just give me a project. I'm fine. I love that. I'd love to help. So what does it look like for you now that you've sold that big project, and are you just camping somewhere at the moment? Like, will you find your home?
Rented a place I really like, and it's in a really good place for us in terms of logistics. Yeah, very, very happy with that. Yeah, there's another project coming.
There's always another project, isn't there? This is good though. The series, though, you go to a lot of different people's homes, and you learnt that everybody lives differently and they have a different understanding of what that means to them, and how they deck it out is often very individual. Who surprised you the most?
Gosh, it's funny, Myf, like you sort of touched on it before and joking that because of what I do, especially because I judge people for a living on TV, that maybe people might feel a little judged by me coming into their houses.
Just coming in the door, Darren, I was terrified. I was like, I love you, and I know that you wouldn't judge me, but there's also that inner conversation that goes on when you have, say, a chef over for dinner, or as yourself, a designer over for a chat. All of a sudden you second guess yourself, and that's perfectly normal. And I got over that very quickly as soon as I said hello to you. But people worry about that stuff, don't they?
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that, because I interviewed Ali Langdon for this as well, and my experience of like going to her house for the first time as a friend was she had Matt Moran and me over for dinner that she cooked in her house, and I was like, the ability to just be like, I don't care about the chef and I don't care about the interior designer in my house while I'm cooking food. I was like, you're like, I shouldn't be surprised you swam with sharks and you've worked in war zones. But wow.
It's true. I mean, my anxiety levels would be through the roof. I'd have to actually leave my own dinner at that point, I think.
Well, I don't think I'd cope with it very well either, but she's cool as a cucumber. But the point I guess I'm making is people might think that I would be judging, but what I'm generally doing is admiring. And I am processing nonstop. I walk in, I'm like taking in all the detail, watching everything, like thinking about, like, oh wow, look at that decision. No, that's interesting. Like, but it's not ever with judgment. It's like appreciation, because I get to see things from somebody else's eyes, and I get to see the things that light somebody else up, and then I can find out more about why, and then you get to experience the world through a completely different lens. And that's the beauty of seeing how everybody lives differently to each other, and the sort of houses that they have, and the way that they build home for themselves. Like it's fascinating stuff, but it's never with judgment. It's always with adoration.
No, I can't imagine you'd ever be with any judgment. You're seeing your friends in their home, and that's a beautiful thing. I was sad that I felt nervous that you were coming around. Like, I was like, he's not like that. That's not in his heart. It's not that. That's just what you do for your work and because you're good at it. But what made you the happiest when you were doing this series? Was it learning about other people's ways of living, or was it, I guess, looking back at your own understanding of what a home is and maybe working out what you need? What was the thing that made you the happiest?
One of the things I enjoyed the most is because I was speaking to people that I know and like. So like with you, I had this idea that I'm like, okay, so I've got this sort of this affinity with you about Dolly Parton, and and then I was like, okay, and Myf's all about music, so that's a good tie from this thing to this thing, and then I can talk to Myf about her experience of, and then constructing these through lines in my mind of like, so where do I start? Where does this go? What are the things that might be interesting for people to understand or know that I know that other people might not know about this person? That's the thing that I've really loved the most. And also being able to share that there's more to the guest than what people might think. It's just, that was fascinating. That's the bit I love the most.
Yeah. Well, I loved seeing you in your element because I feel like this is a fresh perspective that we get to see you from. And in your element is the conversational, the funny, the interesting, the really quick, whip smart person that you are. And I think that's a really special insight. And we get that already, but it's nice to see another side of you as well. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? Thank you so much for being such an amazing guest and being one of the people that I could really be myself with. And all of my guests, I've been able to do that. And that's kind of why I wanted to speak to the people I wanted to speak to, because it's nice to find a safe place to just sort of be open and be vulnerable and just be myself.
Absolutely. And look, to be honest, who else is going to appreciate that Dolly Parton quote that you can memorise, you can actually recite?
Do you want it?
Absolutely. I've never heard anyone recite it without reading it. Like, this is wild. And this is when I knew that you and I are definitely going to be friends for life. Take the floor.
Here it is. I've had trims and tucks, nips and sucks, boobs and waist and butt and such, eyes and chin and back again, pills and peels and other frills, and I will never graduate from collagen. If I see something sagging, bagging or dragging, I get it sucked, tucked or plucked. It takes a whole lot of money to look as cheap as I look. That's my mantra, and I live by it.
I love that mantra. I've only used the end of that quote. It takes a whole lot of money to look this cheap is one of the best ones, and I had no idea it had a preamble. It's wild. So you've changed my life with that one. And
what's wild is it's stuck in my head like that forever. I reckon it'll be one of the last things that leaves my mind when I lose my mind one day.
Well, when you do, when you and I are shuffling around in the old folks' home, that'll be what we'll be saying, and it's great. People will think we're very funny.
Singing Islands in the Stream to each other. Just
absolutely. What other way do you want
something to me that I can't explain.
Yay. Love you, Darren Palmer. Thank you. And I love the new series. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for being my guest too, and all the best with your podcast too. It's brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Bye, love.
This is an MIK-made production recorded on Wurundjeri land. Always was and always will be Aboriginal land.